How should we, as followers of Jesus, respond to the issue of physician-assisted suicide? On the one hand, we honor life. We are people of life. We are pro-life. On the other hand, along with that, we are people of compassion. We are pro-life people because we're people of compassion. We say we care about every human being. What about someone that's suffering so terribly they have no possible way, barring divine intervention, that their life is going to improve? It's going to get worse and worse and worse. They're going to degenerate. They're going to die a terrible death and suffer terribly along the way. Don't they have the right to terminate that agony, to stop it along the way? Look, if it's a dog, if it's a pet that we love and it's suffering, we put it out of its misery. Why can't a human being make that same choice? There's an article in Associated Press about Betsy Davis. Here's a woman with ALS, 41 years old. And here's what happens. As the weekend drew to a close, she had a special gathering. Her friends kissed her goodbye, gathered for a photo and left. And Davis was wheeled out to a canopy bed on a hillside where she took a combination of morphine, pentobarbital, and chloral hydrate prescribed by her doctor. All right, here's a woman degenerating, more and more suffering. If there's any disease that's a horrific disease more than others, it would be ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, where people know they're going to degenerate and lose ability to do almost anything for themselves and die horribly. Now she's 41 years old. She gathers her friends, said, look, no crying. We're going to have a last party, and then I'm going to leave. Why is that wrong? Hey, in no way, shape, size, or form do I sit as her judge. In no way do I say, what kind of woman is that? No. I could not imagine being in those shoes. And especially, maybe you don't have kids, maybe you don't have a spouse that's going to be there with you right till the end and that wants every moment with you, that wants to encourage you in it. Maybe all the more does it seem this is the right choice. And you might even say, hey, God's a merciful God. He's not going to smite me from doing this. All I'm doing is cutting some of the pain short. Why is it wrong? Again, what she did is between her and God. I don't sit as her judge. But here's the great concern with physician-assisted suicide. Number one, where does one draw the line? At what point? How sick do you have to be? How much pain do you have to be experiencing? What type of prognosis do you have to have? How much life expectancy has to be there before this is okay? I know there are certain guidelines that can be given, but ultimately this can become completely personally subjective. And you just say, I've had it. I've had it with this pain and suffering. Even though you could live years longer, even though your life could matter to others, even though it might be real depression that you're battling with because of hopelessness, and in fact, you cut your life short unnecessarily. And then there's a second matter, which is this. Is there no value in a life even in the midst of pain? Is there no value in a life even in the midst of suffering? Again, I'm not sitting as a judge. I haven't been through what this woman went through, all right? I'm simply asking larger questions. And then lastly, where does this lead? What happens next? Is there a slippery slope? If you go to Holland, the answer is yes. That Holland with its euthanasia policies was way ahead of others. And then doctors admitted in recent years, oh yeah, we've euthanized thousands of patients without their consent. Very elderly that were in pain. There's no real life expectancy, no purpose in life. Euthanize them, merciful thing to do. A little child born that's only going to have multiple surgeries and die, presumably at 6 months or a year, and then they're gone. Well, hey, might as well euthanize them now. And if you heard an interview I did with a colleague of mine, Keith Collins, he's the grandfather of a baby that was born with a terminal disease that has defied all odds, 2 years old. The baby suffers a lot. The baby suffers in certain ways day and night. The baby is surrounded by love. And this baby is a fighter, fighting for his life. And the parents and the grandparents say that it's the greatest blessing they've ever had in their lives, and that many have seen the value of life, even handicapped, suffering life. So these are concerns. These are questions that we raise from the heart without condemnation about physician-assisted suicide.